everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Siyang Culture SY-02 Greenland and Mountain Social. Their versions of a, sweet cannon saison. So go ahead and put them off the side real quick and take a look at that box, and yep, this is the box that comes in. It says Siyang Culture roll, which threw me because I thought it was Siyang Culture, but hey, whatever. SY-02, and this is just pretty much brown box all around. Of course, inside you have the much nicer box. Get this guy out of the way. Yeah, Thunderbolt Train. It says here, Thunderbolt Train, everything. There's a nice bit of artwork of the two of them in Mountain Social and Greenland right there. Mounted level deformation toys, 14 plus ages, because not for children. You got Thunderbolt Train up top right here. You got pictures of them in robot modes right here. Transforming Warrior. You got, hey, the pictures of them in their alt and combined modes right there. You got some an Arning, and not suitable for children under 3 years due to small parts, and yeah, multiple countries and tested according to international standards, and blah 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 blah. Please recycle. And hey, look on the back, you have some product shots, and hey, look, there's the what parts of the combined mode there for the, I guess, Thunderbolt. So there's that. It also comes with instructions, which are terrible. I'm going to say that. One, weirdly enough, it actually seems to use the prototypes for the pictures, which is weird in itself. And the instructions are just kind of bad. I'm just going to be honest. The instructions are just generally kind of bad, and yeah, they're just generally kind of bad. So not sure what it's all about, but yeah. Greenland and Mountain Social. Yeah, there are the next set of their train bots. So yeah, getting in closer, you can see, looking at Greenland first. Yeah, you can see, well, he's very green. Yeah, very green and from orange. He's got this kind of a very orange head with, you know, silver face, blue eyes. You got these little horn bits right here. You got a bunch of silver all around him. The gray, lots of gray and green essentially all the way through. He's got the backpack, but you know, they're kind of supposed to have backpacks, each of them. Not all bad, not too bad, all things there, but you know, he's got the backpack and the shoulder bits and everything. Almost forgot about this. Oops, I actually did forget about this, which is, if I can get this out. These little antenna things. Yeah, I mean, he's got his faceplate held with kind of the rounded black thing, but it's got silver and blue eyes right there. You got the grays right there. Lots of black right here around this bits, and but some more, again, that tannish yellow with this gray down here. And of course the backpack, which again isn't too bad. Again, he doesn't stick out particularly far, and he's supposed to have a bit of a backpack anyway, so there is that. Yeah, they're actually not too bad, all things considered. They're actually pretty decent looking train bots. And of course, yeah, they're pretty much retools of each other. There's one, I'm not sure which one's first. I believe is actually this one was the first one they designed, and then yeah, regardless, they're pretty much they are identical in that remolding almost, except for, you know, basically the basic stuff. Like, you know, they did make some changes, but you know, like, you know, he's got some extra silver bits right here. I mean, they remolded stuff, but they got the same basic skeleton. That's what I should be saying. So yeah. Posability, their heads are on ball joints, although they're kind of, since they're recessed in these things, they're kind of hard to move around, but you can go left and right, you can go up and down a little bit. Waggle's not really much of a thing due to the shapes of the heads. Shoulders here, you do have ball jointed shoulders. You got full rotation right there. Look at me and mind the backpack a little bit like that. You do have outward right there. You do have a bicep swivel right there. You have a 90-degree elbow. You do have a swivel right there at the wrist. Right here, you do have rotation, although it's kind of limited just because of, well, the backpack. That's not too bad considering that range. That's kind of seems pretty fair. Hips go forward that far. That's a lot right there. Back, not really much of anything. Outward, you do have almost full splits. You do have a thigh swivel right there, very snug on mine. Knees do have 90 degrees of, or more, not 90 degrees, more than 90 degrees of bend with a double joint right there. And of course, I hear you have ankle tilts, and they're pretty much good right there. Yeah, one thing I also want to point out is on this guy in particular, and some people have reported the same thing, which is these pins on these bits right here. Mine just one day just started coming out. It just whoop, just right out. It looks it has a knurled end, but unfortunately, it didn't seem to set very well. So I had to get a bit of super glue in there just to make it more or less stay. So just be mindful of that. Just kind of, I had to put a drop of super glue on there just to hold it in place. You know, this flap still opens and everything, but yeah, just something to be mindful of. It was really a problem on this guy. This one, not so much. This one hasn't been an issue so far, but yeah, it just started sliding out, so that was a bit of annoyance right there. So there's that. So as for accessories, there's quite a few of them. I'm not going to cover all of them quite yet because some of them are not important for this mode, but yeah. You can hear them rattling around, but yeah. I'll bring them out later. But they do come with a couple of rifles. You can see they're black and gray, so it's not difficult to figure out which whose goes to whose. And actually, funnily enough, in the box, they're holding them in the box. So yeah, just, you know, put the rifles in the hand. You can swap them around if you want, but, you know, that is kind of where they're supposed to be. Yeah, generally they look really good in their robot modes. It's just really solid robots and everything. They feel good. One thing I will say is, yeah, this is a different plastic than the first two releases they did. Those had a very much a soft nylon. This is not that. These are much harder bits of plastic. I'm not sure what kind of plastic it is per se. I think it might be ABS still, but yeah, it's definitely not the nylon plastic the first two. I'm not sure why they changed, but they did. They changed what kind of plastic they're using, and there you go. So, quick comparisons. Here they are with the Magic Squares Bone Crusher. I don't remember his name, but yeah, Bone Crusher. Just to give you an idea of that height right there, considering, you know, he's also a 6-member combiner part of. They seem to be roughly, you know, pretty close in height. And here they are with the previous two releases from Siyang Culture, Getsue and Yukikaze, whatever names I don't remember what names they use. There's that. Yeah, also measurement stuff. Yeah, they're both about 4 and 16 inches or 11.3 centimeters to the top of their heads. They're pretty much the same height. But their weights, Mountain Cereal here is actually 2.6 ounces or 74 grams, and he's 2.5 ounces or 72 grams. I suspect the difference in weight is simply he's got this extra bit right here that he doesn't. So that pretty much, I think that accounts for that one extra bit of weight. But other than that, they're pretty similar to each other. So yeah, generally you get some pretty good robot modes. Pretty posable overall. The only thing I would arguably be missing is honestly an ab crunch, and even that, you know, I can understand why that's not there. You have to be mindful of the backpacks, but yeah, they generally look pretty good. And oh yeah, the heads are just kind of annoying to deal with, just because again they're so recessed. But that's a design issue, just to kind of they're following the original designs. But getting these guys transformed into their vehicle modes, I'm going to go ahead and focus on him, on Greenland. Mountain Cereal, they have identical transformations except for one thing, which I'll show off on the screen. But yeah, get this gun out right here. Right there, you go ahead and bring the arm out, and you get this flap right here on the back of the hand. You need to get this open some way, which can be difficult, say, particularly if you just cut your fingernails recently. You get this flap open, you make sure the fist is like this, and you rotate it around in there like that, and you close this up over top like that, and keep it out like this. And then same thing on this side, you just go ahead, bring that out, and then try to get this flap open like that, and then rotate the hand in and close that up right there. Go ahead and take this thing and also rotate that into that little bit right there like that. Then take the chest piece and bring it forward like this, collapse the sides of the chest in like that, and just bring it up like that. Then you take the abdomen here and you want to bring this out. It's on a double hinge. You want to bring it out and down like this and like that. So it looks like that. And then from here, what you want to do is untab this piece, bring these up and out of the way, and then bring these flaps forward like this. Then you go ahead and unfold this right here, and bring it out to the side, and unfold this, bring it out to the side. Right here, what you want to do is bring the shoulders out a bit. They'll untab from the sides a bit, and you rotate this all back and make sure to bring this down out of the way so this can go all the way. And you bring this all back like this. Bring it back so it looks like that. And then right here, you can bring these flaps out and open them up like this. Open that up like that. And then right here, you want to rotate the arms up like this on the ball joints, so they're sitting like this, so you can bring these all the way out. And then you can see these flaps can tab together like this. Just tab those together. You go ahead and bring the arms in right here like that. Rotate the arms at the biceps so the tabs are facing like this. Go ahead and bring this down right here like that, and then bring these down, bend the elbows, and then tab them in right here like that. Just tab those in like that. From there, I'm going to get out of the way. Go ahead and rotate the waist 180 degrees like that. Just do that right now. And then right here, you can go ahead and bring this down right here, and these tabs right here, and go to those little slots you can see right there on the torso like that. Keep these out. Then right here, I'm going to go ahead and rotate this around like that. You can see also there's a little bit of gap. You can go ahead and push that in. And then the hands here, with this hand, what you want to do is you want to push this thumb forward all the way like that, and then wrap the fingers around like this. Right here, you can bring these down around like this. Bring those down like this. Unfold this part right here. And then bring it back on this hinge right here, and then tab it in right there, like this. And you can then collapse the wheel inside like that. Same thing on this side. Rotate it around. Bring these down like this, bring it on that hinge, bring it down and tab it in like this, and then collapse that in. That's why you need to get that thumb out of the way. If you don't, this will not sit properly. Make sure that thumb is as out of the way as possible. So otherwise it won't sit properly and you're gonna have an annoying, like, wobbly train. Then from here, middle down into the legs, what you want to do is use the angle tilt, you know, tilt that down, and then bring this piece out right here all the way, and close this up. Right here, you want to open up this flap, collapse the leg down. You can see it, bring this down on this hinge, just collapse it in, like so, and then close this up over top, and this will tab now rather than tabbing here or tabbing down here. You close this up, and then rotate this 90 degrees, and then bring it down, and this will tab in right there, like that. Like so. And same thing on this side. You go ahead, open this flap up, collapse the foot down, the leg in, like so. Bring this and close this up. Rotate the foot out. Bring the train wheel bits out like this. Close that back up. Rotate this 90 degrees and then tab it in right there. Go ahead and tab the legs together. So. Tab the legs together like this. Then bring these flaps out right here. For me, I found that the best way to do this is then to take the hips here. You just kind of bring it down like this, and then bring these forward, and then just push it all forward and up like this, so that those tabs will go underneath up into the gray bit, like that. This will also all line up right there. And finally, right there, what you want to do is bring these down, and these will tab in the sides, like so, and like so. Make sure it's all tabbed in like so. And with that, you have one train mode. You have one train. And yeah, the one difference here being, once you got that all done, is to basically take this piece and well, bring it back and tab it into the top like that. And with that, you have them both in their train modes. Yeah, it's a pretty decent looking trains. Of course, they got the weird thing with well, basically the feet sticking out the back, but that's of course G1 accurate in a sense. But yeah, you got some nice bits of here. You got, weirdly enough, I guess they decided to make some adjustments here because this guy's got black painted windows for some reason. You got some silver bits right here, all those like extra bits right here. You got the orange and green, looks real nice. And then you got this train wheels. You know, the back end looks, well, kind of plain, but yeah. It rolls decently. The wheels are there and they work, but yeah, you know, kind of weirdly frictiony. And this one, you know, you got the tan and red. You got the windows, which are largely unpainted, except for these ones up here. And yeah, you got this, some of the nice little details in the front of the train. You got these bits all over. This back of the train looks pretty the same. Underside is like this, and the wheels right there like that. And you know, again, rolls pretty decently, although the friction's kind of iffy. Unfortunately, unlike the first two, the guns here don't store anywhere on the trains, at least as far as I can tell. I don't know if they're going to store later on like the full combined mode or what, because it's kind of interesting to me that, like, I don't know what that's about, because yeah, there's nowhere, as far as I can tell, there's nowhere to store them on the underside or anything. There's like no pegs or slots or anything for them to store, unfortunately, which is a little bit of a disappointment. Yeah, I can tell you though, one of the accessories, this also includes, you hear rattling around the box when you get it, which is, comes with tracks. It's kind of this black, just completely black, no paint or anything, which at this point, if anything was going to be unpainted, I wish it was gray. But you know, they're just black tracks, and it's not just one, it's not just two, it's 10 of them. And of course, they all interconnect, like, you know, pretty much like this, and then you can have a full, well, set of tracks, this, yeah, for them to, well, be on. Not going to put them all together. I'm just going to put these 4 together for now, just to give you an idea. But yeah, they go on the tracks. It's going to line it up. And yeah, they actually go pretty decently on the tracks, all things considered. Next, you know, when they hit these little, the transit points, you can actually hear the, you know, the trains do, yeah, that sort of thing. Work pretty well. The thing is that, as far as I can tell, the trains don't connect up to anywhere, but yeah. They both go on there just fine. Oh, you get lined up right? Yeah. They both go on the tracks just fine and everything. Which is pretty neat. Pretty neat indeed. Pretty neat they go on here just fine. But, yeah, comparison stuff as well. Because, yeah, I also want to show off that, yes, there's Getsue. And, yeah, these two also go on the tracks. Work pretty well. Yukikaze and Getsue also go on the tracks pretty well. Yeah, because they all have the same gauge, so yeah, they all pretty much fit on the tracks, which is nice. But yeah, yeah, these 4 you can see. You see right there, yeah, Getsue and Yukikaze are longer. You can see as well. You can see that they are noticeably longer, which makes sense. They are the legs. There's that bit, and also there they are with Magic Square's Devastator, Person, Bulldozer, Bone Crusher. There's that. Yeah. So the other thing, of course, being measurements in this mode, their length. Both of them are 4 3/4 inches or 12 centimeters long. Same length for both of them. They are pretty much identical, which makes sense considering what they have to turn into. So. One final thing, of course, is to turn them into their arm modes, which this time I'm going to focus on Mountain Serial here for transformation. So, do the transformation to the arm. First of all, you got to get these flaps right here. You got to bring these up right here, like so. Get those up and get this kind of a little bit out of the way, like that. Just kind of to do that. Right here, legs again. Just use the hip joints right here to kind of untab those, and then bring these flaps back and tab them back in right here, like this. Straighten that out if you want. This right here will untab, and you want to bring it up like that, just, you know, resting on top. Then down here at the legs, you will also rotate the waist right 180, split the legs. So you can untab this, bring out the foot, rotate this 90 degrees like so, and then collapse it into the foot like that, and you can close up the foot right there. Same thing, untab this, bring out the foot, rotate this 90 degrees, close it up into the foot, and then close up right there. And open up this flap, and you go ahead and then rest this flap into this groove right here. And this is the part that I don't even mention that you can do with the legs right here. You should bring this down like this. Use those knee joints right here, and just kind of bring it down like this, right? And same thing. Take this gray piece and close it up like that, and then use those leg joints and kind of collapse it up like this, and go ahead and bring these together like so. And that's pretty much the upper part of the arm done. And from here, what you want to do is then take these right here and straighten these out, and then bring this out, untab these. Okay, so you can bring this out right here. Now with the hand, what you want to do is bring out the hand like this. You want to use this hinge right here and bring out the hand like this. So then push on this part so this spins around. You straighten it out right here, spin it all the way around like that. Keep spinning it through like this. Then you use this hinge, bring it down like this, and then fully collapse it like that. And you just more or less will plug this all back in the way it was. So then, you know, retab that in, retab this in. That's why. Yeah, retab this in, then go ahead and I like to bring these down flat like this, and then you go ahead and bring this down to retab that in right there. And with that, of course, you bring this back and you sitting right there. With that, you pretty much have, well, one arm and hand like so, and pretty much doing the same thing, other than, of course, this bit right here. Other than this part right here, it's all exactly the same on the other one, so I'll do that real quick. And there you go. Yeah, there are the arms, the arm modes. Yep. Yeah, again, instructions don't mention this bit with the shoulders. It just has them straight like they were in train mode, which is wrong and it won't connect. I believe these are these are going to help in how it's connected. It's going to you know, slide over whatever is on Shoki, whatever they call them in the end. A couple things to point out. Yeah, I'm not going to get too in depth on this, but a couple things to point out here. Yeah, you can see the hands are different colors. They kind of cheaped out a bit, unfortunately. So yeah, you got that black hand and the gray hand. Some people have resorted to dyeing or repainting the hands. To be mindful of that. It's a little weird and kind of I can see what happened here because you can see that because hey, look, blacks and grays, and yeah, they decided to do that. The hands also, because of how it transforms, there is no wrist swivels. That's gonna be a thing. And also I want to point out these elbow hinges are weird because of how they work. So it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, these are very strange elbow hinges. Yeah. These are pretty much the arms. There's not really much else to say. Again, we'll come to that, back to those when we come back to those. But yeah, a couple other accessories, of course, they come with are the rifle for the combined mode, which you can see it's got the tabs, tabs on there. There's the slots in the hands, and you got that whole thing. Seems to work just fine. It's a good solid grip, I'll say. It's definitely a good solid grip. So yeah, there's that. And other accessories are the well, I guess missile pods or whatever you want to call them for the leg bits. I'm going to attach these in the combined mode video, but it's pretty straightforward. Just basically, these kind of go into there's a little square hole that you'll see on the leg bits, and these just kind of tab it, and these kind of tab in the back and just kind of tab and clip. I believe they show you doing it like this, but I think it's easier coming from this way. I'll make sure of that. But yeah, they just go right into the legs, and I'll show that later. But yeah, that's the other accessory these guys come with. So yeah, overall, not a bad set. Not a bad set overall. There's some weird quirks. The transformations are actually pretty solid. Again, once you get past the fact the instructions are garbage, once you figure out actually how they work, they're actually not bad in transformations. There's definitely a couple things you really want to do in specific order, or else it's going to be a lot more difficult. Particularly with I always say there's these flaps right here. It's like a weird multi-tab system. If you try to tap, if they bring these down and tab this part in right here, it won't work because there's actually an extra tab bit right there. And it's a little annoying. Yeah, there's that. You have to be mindful of where the hand is in the train mode, because otherwise this thumb here, it can actually get in the way of the wheels and won't sit right. So you got to make sure adjust that. I will say, yeah, the main thing is it's kind of a little disappointing. The hands are mismatched. The elbows are going to be definitely weird for the combined mode. Yeah, it's looking like this is so far it's going to be a good set, and I'm really looking forward to the final two whenever those come out. It's also nice that this came with a whole bunch of track. I think that's going to be all the track, because that's 10 pieces. That's enough for all. It looks like it's going to be enough for all 6 of the trains. I think this is a good solid set. It's kind of weird they switched plastics midway through the whole group like this. Like the first two being mostly nylon, these guys seemingly being ABS, or at least not nylon. That's kind of an odd thing to do, but whatever. Yeah, these are pretty solid figures in their own right. In many ways, arguably some ways, there's some improvements over the first two. Maybe in some ways not such. Maybe some of the improvement, there's kind of some bits got maybe a little bit worse arguably, but generally it's still just as good as the first set. I feel, and the transformations themselves are also pretty fun and interesting. And yeah, the price is, what was it? It's not very expensive. It was like, what, $70 total shipped from Show Z. So I think it's way down there. So they're not particularly, actually might be cheaper than that. Actually, I think it was closer to 60 for the two set. For considering the price and everything, they're good. They're a good deal, and they're shaping up to be a good looking ride-in. So yeah, I would definitely suggest picking these guys up. They're even individually, they're still pretty fun. Just be mindful of some of the quirks you're going to have to deal with, and the fact it comes with a lot of extra stuff you're not going to use. Although a lot of the extra stuff are train tracks, which you're going to use if you're going to put it in train mode. So hey, fun time. So yeah, definitely recommended. So that's it for this review. I hope you found it informative and entertaining. Hope you like, comment, subscribe. Check out my social media down in the description and in the end of the video. Check out my Coffee and my Patreon. And I'll see you next time with another video review.